Hello, my name is Lindsay and I work for Advigator, an Amazon advertising software. On our agenda today. So first, I will show you some examples of where your ads will appear on Amazon. Then we will take a high-level look at the process of creating a campaign and what you need to know about targeting and bids per click. After seeing how to monitor performance, we will look at advanced optimization techniques, such as the formula for calculating bids per click, how to run an analysis of search term reports, bidding strategies, and finally, hourly bidding. There are three types of Amazon ads campaign types. We have sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display. So now we will see what these ads look like. Now I'm on my Amazon webpage on my desktop, and I'm going to search today for face sunscreen because it is a beautiful summer day here. Okay, super. So first we can see a sponsored brand ad from Clinique. Now, this ad requires brand registry and allows the brand to customize the copy and drive to different landing pages. This is a sponsored brands campaign, and if we scroll through the results, we will see sponsored product ads. So let's scroll a bit. Yes. Now, we know that these are sponsored product ads because we can very clearly see the word sponsored below the product photos. And these are the most common types of ads and can be run by anyone. It's also one of the best types of ads because it looks identical to the organic search results. So here we can see 4 sponsored results at the top, and we will also see more throughout the search results if we scroll down a bit. Let's look for them. And here, 4 more. And the majority of the advertising sales are from sponsored products because there are so many of these advertisements in our search results, and this is a sponsored products campaign. Now, when we were scrolling, we passed a sponsored brands video. Here it is. So as you can see, it's a video from a sponsored brand campaign, and it will require brand registry. So let's scroll all the way to the bottom of the page to see our last type of advertisement. Went too far. Here it is. This is a sponsored display ad. Here we have the new Advanced Vitamin C Face Serum. So we can also see these on a product page, not always, but let's try today by clicking on a product, and we'll see if we can find another one of these ads. Let's try the blue lizard. Okay, so the sponsored display ads would be found below the buy box and also the product listing. Here we don't have one, but that's where they would be. And we can also see products related to this item down here, which is showing us some more sponsored product ads. And as we just saw, the sponsored ads appear from both keyword targeting and from product targeting. So the combination of both of these is called targeting, and we will keep this in mind for later. Now we will walk through the creation process in the Amazon Ads console. Unfortunately, Amazon makes this overly complicated with a lot of terms and a lot of choices, but be patient and I will explain everything. To create a campaign on Amazon, you will need to decide on 4 things. So first, you have to decide which campaign type. We can choose between sponsored products, sponsored brand, or sponsored display. Next, you will choose which products to promote using the ASIN or the Amazon Standard Identification Number. Next, select where you want the ads to appear. This means targeting, which includes keywords and competitors' product pages. Last, you need to determine how much you're willing to spend for a click on your product page and the daily budget. Okay, let's walk through the steps to create a campaign in Amazon Ads Seller Central. So in the Advertising and Campaign Manager, which is the page that I've navigated to here, you can see all of your existing campaigns, which are below this graph. And you can also click this blue button to create a new one, which I'm going to do now. And when you click this button, you will need to choose your campaign type. So remember, the three campaign types are sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display. So today we will do a sponsored products ad, which I've already loaded for us here. And here I can see my products, and I would be able to add one to my ad by clicking this add button here. And then I will go below the products and move on to targeting. And so this is how we will decide how we want to target our audience. And as we said before, there is both keyword targeting and product targeting. And here the Amazon creation process makes it overly complicated because we can add either keywords or product targets, but not both. So in order to do both types of targeting, you will need to repeat the campaign process or create another ad group later. And also, Amazon makes a distinction between automatic targeting and product targets. Automatic targeting will give Amazon the power to decide where to run the ad, whereas manual targeting gives the seller control over where the ads will appear. And usually we refer to manual targeting, which is what I'm going to click on today, because manually targeting lets us optimize more efficiently, and also because we can choose individual keywords and bids. So for the rest, I will keep the default settings. And here I'm going to use keyword targeting, and I'm going to choose the keywords. I'm going to click enter list here. So here I have a box where we will choose the keywords that we want our ads to appear for when the customer searches or clicks on a product page. And how should we choose the best keywords? I will cover that later in the video. Let's see how to find keywords and product types. There are several ways to find keywords to add to a campaign. And the first way is to use the tool already integrated with Amazon that will suggest keywords. Amazon's autocomplete is very useful because it suggests the search terms that were the most searched by customers. You should try different words and combinations to extract multiple keywords here. Your competitors have likely already optimized their product titles for high traffic keywords. You can leverage their efforts here to identify the most relevant keywords. Or you could use one of the many keyword research tools, such as Helium 10. You provide the ASIN, and it will generate a list of keywords that you then have to filter and select only the most relevant ones. Sounds complicated and boring? With Advigator, you don't have to do anything. When you activate the campaign, the keywords are automatically found for you based on the methods that we've talked about before. Now let's go back to our campaign creation process and add the keywords. So what do the match types exact, phrase, and broad mean? Here you can see I have some examples of keywords for sunscreen. So basically, you want to think like your target customer and what keywords they will search on Amazon to lead to your product. So we need to decide if we will add by exact, phrase, or broad keywords. I can choose one or a combination of the three. And exact keywords means that my ad will only appear if a customer searches for this exact keyword on Amazon. In this case, it is sunscreen. And this can also include misspellings and singulars and plurals. Phrase keywords, on the other hand, means that my ad will show only on a search that includes my keyword, maybe with a word before or after it. So, for example, with my sunscreen, I can see sunscreen spray, sunscreen stick, and sunscreen lotion. And this can also include misspellings, singular, plurals, acronyms, things like this. Broad keywords means that my ad will show on semantically related searches. For the sunscreen example, I might also see after sun lotion, hydrating cream, and facial cleanser. If you add the plus symbol before a word for generic matching, then you're forcing Amazon to find other search terms that are semantically similar, but will include at least that word inside. So it'll be similar to a phrase match, but it will also accept words in a different order. And this is a good practice to reduce irrelevant traffic. Let's see how bidding works on Amazon ads. Amazon Ads operates on a pay-per-click system, charging sellers only when a customer clicks on an ad. So the sellers choose keywords and then they can set the bid amounts, which is the maximum that they will pay per click. And ad placement is determined by both the bid amount and also the ad relevance. So Amazon ranks the search results by considering the seller's bid and the probability of being clicked. Since Amazon earns money only when ads are clicked, high bids are important, but if they're combined with the low probability of being clicked, then they are less attractive. Conversely, high bids with a high probability of being clicked are, of course, preferred, and the bid is multiplied by its click probability to create the ad rank, which is then used to sponsor products from highest to lowest. A seller can achieve a higher search position if Amazon believes that the product has a high click probability, even if they had a lower bid than their competitor, which we can see here with the Banana Boat sunscreen listed at $3.50. Now let's go back to our campaign creation process. So what is Amazon's suggested bids? Well, bidding is so important to Amazon that it will give you suggested values. It gives you a minimum, a maximum, and also an average value. The suggested bid gives you market information. Amazon sees all the bids made by sellers on that keyword and generates impressions. It then orders and analyzes the bid concentration. The minimum bid indicates that a small fraction of the market, so about 25%, offers up to that value. The central value separates the market in two. Half of the sellers offer more than that amount, and the other half offer less. The suggested maximum bid is the minimum bid offered by the highest bidders. It's not the maximum value because it's a long tail, and we don't know the highest value, only where it starts. So what happens if you lower or increase the bids? If you bid high, you will appear at the top of the search, but you will also spend more per click. If you bid lower, you will appear lower, but you will save on cost. If you bid much less than the suggested minimum, then your product might not appear at all in the sponsored results. But remember that bid amounts don't impact the organic results in the short term. So if you bid low, you might still appear lower in the sponsored results, but higher in the organic results. Now let's see how you can monitor the spending and sales of your ad campaigns on Amazon. In the Amazon Ads console, we can track various metrics over time. So here I can compare different time periods and I'm comparing the sales. Now, the sales are from advertising only. The total sales are available in Seller Central or in Vendor Central. And the metrics that we are most interested here are spend, sales, and ACoS. And as you see, if I click on them, it's adding it to the graph, or I can isolate the metrics. So let's isolate the ACoS. Okay. And ACoS is very important for an Amazon seller, and that is because it's the ratio between ad spend and ad sales. So, in other words, it shows what percentage of sales went to cover advertising costs. Now, in the most recent time period, the ACoS is usually higher, which I can see it's trending upwards. And this is because orders have yet to be attributed to the campaign, as the customer has 7 days to place orders. So I would suggest you look at the ACoS as a total value over a monthly period. And we can now look at the cost per click, which I can add by adding it through the drop down cost per click. Okay, here it is. Now, the cost per click tells us the average cost of a click among all of the keywords and product pages, whereas the click through rate, which I will add back in, okay, the click through rate is calculated as clicks divided by impressions. Now, this gives us a measure of how relevant our product is in the search results for that keyword, and also what percentage of the traffic we captured in clicks. It is usually a helpful snapshot, and a good price will help us to improve the click through rate. Sellers always want to know what is a good ACoS. Well, there isn't a good or bad value because it depends on the seller's profit margin and also their advertising goals. Clearly, all sellers want their ACoS to be as low as possible, but often a low ACoS coincides with low sales volumes. Additionally, for a short period, such as a product launch, your priority might be to appear in top positions, which usually results in a higher ACoS. And generally, it's recommended to have an ACoS where the product is slightly profitable so that you can keep your campaign running for as long as possible. The graph in the Amazon Ads console is very confusing and difficult to analyze. The graph of spending, sales, and ACoS is what you are controlling the most, but as you can see, it is a very big mess of lines. And it may look like one line is higher than the other just because the amount is higher, when in fact they're on two different axes, so you have to actually hover over them to get a better understanding. Fortunately, there is a much better alternative. With Advigator, monitoring your sales is much easier. From the sidebar, you can choose the product or aggregate multiple countries. And the chart is much easier to read. You have spend, sales, and ACoS all in one chart. Additionally, you can aggregate by day, week, or month to have fewer bars. Now let's look at the main optimization strategies to increase budget efficiency. Let's suppose you've been running campaigns for a while and you have a very high ACoS. You definitely can't afford to maintain this in the long term. So how can you reduce the ACoS? Bids per click is the main factor affecting the ACoS. Here we will see how to calculate the bids so that your ACoS is as close as possible to your target ACoS. So maybe you're wondering why your ACoS is high. Now, let's suppose that you placed a bid of 80 cents on this keyword. What could go wrong here? Well, after the first orders, we have an ACoS of 80%. We will have to stop the campaign because we are losing too much money. So, what should we do? Add the keywords as negative? Well, actually, none of these. The keyword is relevant because it generated an order, so we should keep it running. The problem is that the bid was too high. So, how much should we reduce the bid per click? Well, it depends on our target ACoS. Let's suppose that we want our ACoS to be 30%. So we need to go from an ACoS of 80% to 30%. We will reduce the bid per click by the same ratio that we want to reduce the ACoS. So let's reduce the bid now. Was it really that easy? Unfortunately, no. The problem is that now the sales have also decreased. The spending was lower, but it took twice as long to make 4 orders. The ACoS actually decreased too much here, and we didn't want it to be reduced that much. We want to have an ACoS of about 30% and a better trade off between the ACoS and the sales volume. We will continue the optimization process as before. So we want to go from a 12% ACoS to 30%, which is an increase of 150%. So we will increase the bids per click by 150%, which reaches 75 cents. Sounds complicated and boring? With Advigator, you will never have to use a calculator. Advigator does everything for you automatically every day. It analyzes historical data, calculates new bids per click, and it updates them directly in your campaigns. You don't need to do anything, you just set your target ACoS, and optimization happens while you sleep. Now I'm going to show you an interesting report that Amazon provides, the search term report. To find this, you will go to Measurement and Reporting in the Amazon Ads console. Then you will click on Create Report and choose Search Term as the report type. Now, if we open the Excel sheet that was generated, we will find data for each keyword that generated clicks. The most interesting column is Customer Search Term. This tells us the actual search term that the end customer typed into the search bar to reach our product. So this can be different from the keyword we entered if it is a phrase match or a broad match. And if we find an ASIN code in the column, it means that the click or the order came from a user who was browsing a competitor's product page. This report can be used in several different ways. The first use is to obtain performance data at the individual keyword level. So, for an example, we can calculate ACoS and decide whether to increase or decrease the bid per click for that keyword. We can also use this report to find new keywords. We added sunscreen cream as a phrase match keyword. Some users searched for sunscreen cream SPF 50 and then made 5 orders of our product. Now, this is great news, and we will want to add this keyword to our campaign. And you might be asking yourself, if I'm already getting traffic from this search term, why do I need to add it as a new keyword? Well, the reason is to set a specific bid per click. So, as an example, if this search term performs well, you might want to set a higher bid per click than you do for sunscreen cream, which is more general. In this row, we can see that we received 25 clicks and paid $5 for traffic from an irrelevant keyword. And by irrelevant, I mean that people that are searching for after sun lotion are not interested in buying sunscreen. Therefore, we can do two things with this. The first is we can lower the bid per click on the broad match type keyword, or we can add after sun as a negative phrase match keyword to stop getting traffic for this keyword. Sounds complicated and boring? Advigator does it all for you. Every day, it downloads and analyzes the search term report. If there are search terms with orders, they are automatically added to the campaign with a bid based on the number of orders and clicks that they received. If there are keywords generating many clicks but no orders, we will gradually reduce the bid until it disappears. And we don't automatically add negative keywords, but we provide easy ways for you to add them and other suggestions. Here you can clearly see the exclude button on the right-hand side. Now let's see how the up and down bidding works. Go to the campaign settings and change the bidding strategy. There are 3 options: up and down only, and fixed bids. Let's suppose you, as an Amazon seller, set a bid for a keyword, but it's too low for your product to appear at the top of search results. Your product would theoretically appear mid-range with the bid you have set. At this point, Amazon analyzes historical data and calculates whether the product would sell more if it were at the top of the search results instead of the middle of the page. If Amazon expects a higher conversion rate, it will increase the bid to the minimum amount necessary to win the top of search auction. It can increase the bid by up to 100%. Many sellers do not use this feature because they believe that Amazon has a conflict of interest and increases the bid only to make them spend more. In reality, as we have seen, this increase only occurs if a higher conversion rate is expected. In cases where Amazon predicts a lower likelihood of sales, it will reduce the bid per click. With Advigator, the up and down bidding is always active and automatically disabled if the campaign's actual ACoS exceeds your target ACoS by 5 percentage points. This is generally the option that we recommend, but you can also change the values. Now let's see why it's important to change the bids per click throughout the day. 1 minute after midnight, the budget for every campaign of every seller in the market resets. The market becomes hyper competitive, and to win the top positions, the cost per click is very high. The top of search placement becomes very expensive because it is highly competitive. If you have up and down bidding active, Amazon will double the bid per click to outbid other sellers. These are the average conversion rates on Amazon for each hour of the day. And as you can see, the conversion rate is very low at night. Therefore, it's very rare for someone who starts a search at night to actually place an order. You might think that this isn't a significant issue because traffic is low at night. Yes, it is true that traffic is low at night, but because each click costs a lot, nighttime spending is 14% of the total daily budget. Conversion rates are very low, making these the least efficient hours of the day and where the budget is the most wasted. What should you do to improve efficiency? Reduce the bids per click at night. This way, your products will still be visible, but the cost will be proportionate to the conversion rates. If you use the up and down bidding strategy, you should pause it at night and re enable it during the day. Sounds complicated and boring? Advigator does this automatically. It analyzes the conversion rates of your products for each hour of the day, and it reduces the bids per click during the less performing hours. It also deactivates and reactivates the up and down bidding. I hope this presentation was interesting for you. If you want to try Advigator to better create and manage your advertising, go to www.advigator.com. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Goodbye.